The Whale is the earmarked comeback, the renaissance, the return of the one great Brendan Fraser, and yes, this is the film that got him that really emotional standing ovation. Yes, he's back, baby. But quick little side note before this review actually gets started. Kind of like a smoking PSA that you watch as a kid to stop you from smoking, this movie will make you never want to eat Wendy's, McDonald's, any fast food ever again, or any processed food ever again in your entire life, because wow. So I just wanted to get that out of the way before this video actually starts. Hey guys, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I really do appreciate it. And I was able to see The Whale at the Vancouver International Film Festival about a month ago. I'm here to give you my honest, no BS, non-spoiler review for you today and tell you if it's worth a watch. And make sure you stick around to the end so that you know my rating and the secret phrase for you to leave down in the comment section down below so that I know that you made it to the end of the video. And like every other video, this is just my own personal opinion. So if you guys thought the same or differently of The Whale, let me know your thoughts of the movie down below. Now, let's get started. So we have The Whale from director Darren Aronofsky, and he's done such films as Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, Noah, Mother, and Black Swan. And it stars Brendan Fraser, Sadie Sink, Simpkins, and Chau, amongst others. Now the story is about a man who is an English teacher and he teaches online classes, but he has his webcam turned off because he's extremely ashamed that he is morbidly obese. I'm talking 600 pounds plus. It's quite a sight to see. And why is he so big? Why has he been eating so much? Well, to kind of drown his sorrows, and unfortunately his character only has a week to live, and he wants to get closer with his daughter. So is this movie worth a watch? Well, if you guys have watched my Sun review, it's pretty much the same answer. My critic brain says yes, and my film fan brain almost says no because it's depressing. Like, it is hard to see a man eat that much and be so sad and be that unhealthy on screen. Like I said, like those smoking PSAs that you watched when you were a kid that, you know, told you not to smoke, this movie makes me just never want to eat greasy pizza or a Big Mac ever again. But regardless of the depressing subject matter, I still think this is a really fantastic movie, and I like it because it brings forward many messages, not subtle messages by any means, so, you know, a normie would understand it, but the main message of the movie, which I thought was just extremely powerful, is that you can't save anyone. And I'm talking as a guy here, and this is a little bit of a tangent, but I have a point to it. You know, I feel like, you know, guys, you can let me know down in the comment section down below. Have you guys ever dated a girl who has had maybe a bad relationship with their parents, depressed, or is having any sort of issues, and you think, oh, you can save this person. You want to feel like you're the knight in shining armor, the Prince Charming coming to save the damsel in distress. It's just a bunch of hogwash. It's not real. It's a fairy tale. You can't save anybody. Only they themselves can be saved. So Brendan Fraser's character in this movie, he knows that he has only 1 week to live. He knows that eating all of this stuff is extremely bad for him, and he knows that there is no good end in sight for him unless he starts eating properly. He has some help. And he's being told this by many different people. His caretaker tries to save him. That doesn't work. His daughter tries to save him. His loved ones, his ex-spouse, they are like, dude, you gotta get better. Doesn't work. Even a priest, which of course is the symbolism for God and religion, even he and that can't save him. Only you can save yourself. So that basically leads to 2 lessons. 1, stop wasting energy on saving people who don't want to be saved. It's absolutely no use. And like I said earlier, I've dealt with this before. I had an ex-girlfriend who would complain about being stressed all the time and having all these panic attacks, and said that she needed some space to study on her tests. But turns out she was just on TikTok all the time, and she failed every single test, so she had to do the course again and again and again. And I'm like, there's no saving you with this one. So unfortunately, I had to let it go. But the second lesson also is stop waiting for someone to save you. Only you can get out of the situation that you're in. Because in the end, you are responsible for everything in your life. Charlie, Brendan Fraser's character, he is extremely sad because his boyfriend died. It's not his fault, but he is responsible for how he reacts, and he just decided to eat his sorrows away and gain over 500 pounds. And now he's morbidly obese and just clinging on to life. There isn't much left. But those are just the deeper messages of the movie. I wanted to get that out of the way first because I think those are the main reasons to watch this movie. If a movie is just surface level, especially a drama, and doesn't really have anything to say, I find that to be, you know, I don't want to say boring, but less impactful. But getting into the actual filmmaking and the movie itself, I mean, I gotta talk about Brendan Fraser. This is easily his best performance he's ever given. And I haven't even seen all of his movies, so I guess I can't necessarily say that. You know, I could watch Looney Tunes back in action and go like, that is pinnacle acting. But I mean, come on. He was just a force in this movie, and I really do think, and again, I haven't seen every movie from this year and I don't know the Oscar nominations, I think he wins. That's just my own personal opinion. There is one moment in this movie where he's talking about doing just one right thing in his life, and he's just crying, and he just, oh my god, it just hit the soul. That one line, I'm like, I was kind of sitting back in the theater and going, oh my god, this is almost like too real. It's fantastic, man. Amazing, astounding, an astounding performance from Brendan Fraser. And the movie has a lot of moments like that. This movie really digs deep and explores the human soul. And it's not for the faint of heart, because this movie deals with shame and guilt and loss. It's not an easy watch. That's why I said earlier, if you don't want to watch a depressing movie, then maybe stay away from this one, because this movie is quite a lot to get through. And not because the movie's bad, just because the movie tackles some really big issues. And like I said earlier, it's not complex, it's not subtle. The movie knows exactly what it is, and it just shows it to you. It's not apologetic for what it is, and the music really just, it's deep and dark and haunting. Really matches what's going on in Brendan Fraser's soul. Now, I have talked to some people who didn't like the movie, and there are some reasons why they didn't, but I do think that these moments and these elements actually worked in the movie's favor, in my own personal opinion. Some might find it heavy-handed. Like I said, this movie is not a very easy movie to watch. Some might find it boring because the movie takes place in one location. And while I understand where they're coming from with this, I think just being in the one location, in the one apartment, just kind of feels claustrophobic, and it feels like we are stuck with this condition. We're stuck in this moment. We're stuck with this way of thinking, and Brendan Fraser, Charlie, our main character, can't get out of it either. Some might find it melodramatic. We have an English teacher, an obese English teacher who has left his wife for another man who has died, and he has a daughter who is extremely angsty and is extremely mean because of it, and a young boy tries to help him through God, right? So I think that some people might find this very melodramatic because it is very over the top, very like intense breakdowns of humanity. Some people might find it long, very repetitive. Sure, I can kind of understand that. I can see how this movie shows us kind of the same scene, but in a slight variation many times. And some might find the ending a bit weird because it is very ambiguous, and I was one of those people where I was like, okay, I don't know if I quite understand the ending. That's the one moment in the movie where I'm like, okay, now it is very subtle, it is very complex, because again, I don't want to spoil anything, but we don't really know what happens with the character. At least I didn't. And some people didn't like the character of Ellie, played by Sadie Sink. Now, I understand what they're going for with her character. She is the daughter of Charlie, and she is this very rebellious, very on edge, prickly type of personality because of the divorce and because she has a lot of trauma in her life. But because of that, she's very mean and very abrasive, almost to a comical level. I'm like, what character can be this mean to people? And I understand why she's the way that she is, but I didn't really like her as a character. I'm going, I don't really care if you have a redemption arc because you have made your character so unlikable that there's really no sympathy for her anymore. So there can be some flaws with the movie depending on what you're really looking for, but The Whale really impressed me. So for an overall rating, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I was really floored by this movie. When I was walking out of the theater, it was a film festival crowd, but just tears. Man, I've been watching a lot of sad movies lately. But those are my thoughts on The Whale. So if you think the same or think differently, let me know your thoughts of the film in the comment section down below. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and I also want to plug in my Patreon where we do movie nights every single month, and I give you guys movies every single month. So if that interests you, link is down below, and the secret phrase is the Baconator is better than the Big Mac. Gotta keep it food related with this one. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon. Take care.